Peace, family. How y'all doing? Happy Metaphysical Monday. Excuse me. So no, I wanted to get started because they said I had too much in my on my StreamYard. I had too many videos saved, so I had to literally delete some in order for this to be, recorded and added to YouTube so other people can watch it if they're tapping in late, right? Anyway, peace, family. Peace. Um, I'm running a little behind tonight, and you guys are going to can expect that because I work on a certain frequency, so sometimes I can't always um, be there at 8 p.m. That's the goal, but sometimes it may be earlier, depending on if I'm interviewing people on the East Coast or somewhere else in the world, and it could also be a little later, just depending on what I have going on. But I will always let you guys know in advance, from here on out, if I'm going to be late or if the show time is changed. Okay. So anyway, you guys, I want to thank everybody that's been tapped in. I have seen people tapping in and I give thanks. We are in our third year of Metaphysical Monday. This is the season 3, episode 8. And tonight we're going to go ahead and tap again on the AI series. I want to go ahead and light some candles for the ambiance and also for the ancestors. I have all my crystals and my prayer space set up here, my devotional space set up here, and I just want everybody to may you all be protected on your journeys. Be cool out there because the energy is crazy, it's different, and people are very temperamental right now. So the candles and everything that I'm burning is just to keep a peaceful flow, and also to send out peace to everybody tapped in, everybody locked in. Okay, so what this live is going to be about, before we even get into the live though, I do have some announcements that I would like to make. As we're getting deeper into Metaphysical Monday, more guests coming on. It'll be different people with different ideas, because this space, Metaphysical Monday, Calligraphy TV, is a space where we don't judge. We hold space for people with different ideas of spiritual philosophies, even some people that are still in religion. If they have something that they can bring to my channel, to this platform, that can help people in the community to be better, to heal, then I'm all for it. But I do have my own I have my own framework that I do use, and some people will try to come on here and they'll group it all together like we're that's like we're kind of on the same time or whatever. And that it's not that I disagree with what people are doing, but I just want to be really clear for my audience members so they'll know where I am. Okay. Um, so let me just go ahead and start with my disclaimer for Metaphysical Monday. So Metaphysical Monday is hosted by me, platform creator Cola Soljat, under Calligraphy TV. This space centers Black thought, spiritual exploration, and community dialogue. Guests are invited to share their perspectives, their experiences, and their insights. All views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Cola Soljat or the New Soljat community, or even this platform, Metaphysical Monday. It also does not reflect my framework, which is the New Soljat philosophy, which I have not even began to teach publicly. I do have some lessons. You'll see house consciousness. You may see some of my other schools of thought, influenced by, of course, the ancient knowledge and things that I've also come into myself just with my own study and research. But my framework is based in African spirituality, um, Kemetic concepts, hermetics, and metaphysics. Okay. And like I said, I also, you'll see other works, Ifa, things that I have been initiated in, and also things that I've been taught and learned for many years, that I've taken things that work for me and my community. Okay. So everything is not to a dot. But I'm very open spiritually. I'm not locked into something so locked that I can't be open to hear what another person has to express. Um, and I just ask that other people that come in and watch the show, every show may not be for you, but know that you may learn from a lot of people from different walks of life. Because at the end of the day, no matter what people believe or what people stand in, we are the world. And there's going to be different perspectives, long as it's positive and it's about community building and, again, helping us to be better people. Also, things that edify the planet, that lifts the vibration on Earth, because I am a planetarian. Well, we are all planetarians, but I am a planetarian. Shout out to Oba Usai Jabimi, who gave us that title up in the order that I was in back in those days. You know, planetarian means that we are stewards of this planet. We are stewards, humanity, humans, the original man, even. We have a job. We have, as stewards of this planet, we do have a job and a responsibility to planet Earth. And that's what a planetarian is about. It's about understanding that we all have a role, and this is our home, and we all have to share it, and everybody has a role in what they bring to this planet, what type of energy we bring into this planet, even the behavior of our own children, and the things we bring to the planet. It's crucial that we that we teach, we correct, we discipline, and we check ourselves, correct, teach, discipline, learn, even within ourselves. Okay, so I want to go ahead and finish this. So, appearance on this platform does not imply alignment, endorsement, or shared belief. Any clips, excerpts, or redistributed content must include proper credit to Metaphysical Monday and Calligraphy TV. Unauthorized edits or framing that misrepresents the host and or the platform are not permitted. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get into any other announcements we have. And now this disclaimer, don't worry, it will be in the comments. This disclaimer will also have its own short, because I'm going to, of course, you know me, I'm going to make a short video, and I'm going to just read the disclaimer so we could be clear, and anybody that want to go back and refer to it is there. Okay, so thank y'all for tapping in. And you guys, I'm going to be making a lot of changes on this platform. We're going to get it back to how it used to be, raising the frequency with our music and performance and all of the things that I've done on this platform. I'm just getting back in, and I'm learning how to use the tools that I have. So now I already spoke to the disclaimer. Also, my services, I am available pretty much every day except for Mondays, to do oracle, intuitive, and tarot readings. That's what I do. That's my livelihood. I also do manifestation and prayer candles. You can order those and they can be shipped to your house, or you can, I have a burning service here at my house for people that can't burn their own candles. If you want to know more about that or my spiritual work, make sure you tap in. Okay, I want to also talk about guests. We are inviting guests to Metaphysical Monday. If you're interested in being a guest, you have something to give to the community, you already have a platform, you have messages you want to put out there, or something that is viable and you're informative about it, please, please, please make sure you submit your request. You can do it through my email if you want to be a guest on Metaphysical Monday. You can also do it on Facebook through Denim Design. If you're connected to any of my platforms, TikTok, any of that, you can always inbox me. But the best way to make sure I see it is to go through the email, okay? So I want to give a shout out to the Ratchet Revolutionary, um, Palmetto Star out of Georgia. He was on last week. We had it was a pretty good show. Make sure y'all check it out. He got all types of information, and even this Malcolm X foundation that Iran has started, in order to show alliance and allyship to the American Black people, and maybe blacks globally. We gotta, we gotta come together. So shout out to Iran, okay, and the Malcolm X Foundation. Shout out to Raw for TV. Okay. Next week we're gonna have Ancient Angel coming back on. He came on a couple of weeks ago. We built on some different topics about the cosmic blueprint, and other metaphysical topics dealing with energy and stuff. So I'll let you guys know what we're gonna be building on. I'm gonna be talking about ancestral customs, what stays, what upgrades. So that's gonna be a powerful build as well, okay? Because that comes up a lot. What we should still be doing in this modern time, in certain religions, or spiritual customs, beliefs, and even things that we do as spiritualists. Are these things still relevant, and is this stuff we should still be practicing or just examining? Like I said, he's going to come with his take, I'll have my take, and it's up for you guys to decide what works for you. Okay, so let me see, is there anything else? If not, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. um You guys make sure you do. If you like what I'm doing, please hit like, share, subscribe. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into what we've been talking about. We built on AI. Is AI the devil? We talked about the systems. We talked about the family matrix and geofences. We talked about the people glitching out, and that's part of the family matrix and the geofences, where as we shift frequencies, you began to um see people who's not in alignment begin to glitch out. That's what we call it. You know, they're glitching in the matrix, meaning they're not in alignment and they can no longer hold that form or that even the mask that they may wear. Sometimes, you know, it is they are who they are. It's just that since we were not in alignment at that time, or we were still on a certain vibration, our perspective have changed now, but we couldn't see it. Okay. So we talked about information overload. We've talked about fake deep conversations, and I'm going to build more on fake deep because that's very, very important when we're dealing with artificial intelligence. The fake deep videos are really just sending people and creating so much confusion and so much what we don't know real from fake. Um, Thank God for the glitches within those videos. So we're going to be having more conversations on fake deep videos. Tonight, what I wanted to look at is something that we were supposed to do a few weeks ago, and I kind of went to something else. So what we're going to talk about now is just looking at this shift with our jobs, the human impact, discernment, and it's the human impact. It's in the work world and the discernment that we need to use in this upcoming world. Okay. So what does this shift look like? People are full of information but empty in skill. Okay, we're seeing this a lot. People taking in, we talked about this, people taking in a lot of information but not even understanding how to apply it or what to do with all of the information that we're taking in, especially people who consider themselves to be chosen or conscious or woke, new conscious, chosen and woke, like, you know, within the COVID years and doing different things that's happened in our world, with the government and certain protests and just different things from Black Lives Matter to all of that movement. A lot of information has been coming in, even in the Illuminati days, right? where everything was just Illuminati this, Illuminati that, right? So there's still a lot of information that's out here, and people jump into all of these different things, and a lot of false information being put out into our world. And then when you add the fake deep videos, and fake deep videos are basically videos that are created by AI that look like real videos, where you can't tell real from fake. And if it wasn't for the glitch in those videos, we wouldn't know real from fake. You know, shout out to whoever's tapping in right now. Welcome into Metaphysical Monday. And so what does this shift actually looks like? We're already seeing we're seeing this automation reality. So that again, like dealing with the fake deep videos and stuff. And we're also seeing like now we got robots in kitchens, you know, in restaurants. California, see, they already had one like in some in Asia that they talked about during like COVID. But now we have our first restaurant in California where it's full service robot. You only have like one human being working in it, and the robot is in there. Robots, a whole team of robots are basically taking over. You know, they're cooking, they're getting these meals made in 123 seconds, something that humans definitely can't do. And what's crazy is a lot of people are, since COVID, aren't wanting to work these jobs no more here in where I live at in Beaumont. It's so many of these places that are just empty. Places like Jack in the Box, places like McDonald's, can't find people to cover shifts and stuff like that. Well, as this, you know, this AI infrastructure goes more into motion and people are willing to put money into it, which that's happening now. um, People, those jobs won't even be available anymore for the most part. For those that, you know, they'll still have them here and there. But, you know, for people that got that McDonald's kind of money and some of these other places, you know, that could definitely be a reality sooner than you think. Okay. So there's self-check stands that, you know, they're already starting them in the grocery stores and stuff where and in places like Walmart, places like Five Below, and different places where you have the option. Some places you don't even have the option, but you have the option to check yourself out. And for some people, they're like, oh yeah, great, efficiency. Because that's the most important thing about artificial intelligence, that People like about it. I like about it. Everybody that uses it like about it is the efficiency. It's the speed and the efficiency of things. It's also people that can take charge themselves with these checkout places. But then at the same time, look at how many jobs they replace. Every one of those self-check stands, those were human beings in there, as we know. But what happens when we get into these places and there's, less and less humans, and we're dealing with robots, right? Dealing with AI infrastructures within these companies. It's fewer workers needed. You probably just need a worker or two just to make sure the systems are running, and if there's any problem with maybe customers or things of that sort. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, let's be real though, from a capitalist standpoint, people at the top, the corporations, the capitalists, they're doing what makes sense for them in business. So if people aren't showing up for work, especially in these fast food and lower paying jobs, people are costing them more money than necessary. If one robot can fill 20 workers on a shift, then what do they need people for? Right. And like I said, these are already jobs that people took for granted anyway. Like nobody even wants to do the jobs. But now it's getting to a place where, the reality is setting in that these jobs may not even exist. We always think we can just go grab a fast food job, but just think about that in this upcoming future and in the world we live in. If 20 workers can replace if one robot can replace 20 workers, think about it from a capitalist standpoint. That's what they're going to do. And it's not personal. For them, it's business. They don't have emotion into it, right? um if you guys have not checked out my Aquarius video, and many people didn't check it out, please make sure you guys watch that Aquarius video that I have posted. It's talking about kind of like the energy with the age of Aquarius, tech versus humanitarianism. That's very, very important because the world is becoming more and more artificial. I wanted to talk about Mark Zuckerberg and something that he did, or that he's doing in this year. So basically, Mark Zuckerberg and other techs, obviously, they're not thinking about jobs in the regular way that people are. We need our jobs. We need to make money, or have a grind or some type of way to make a living. They're not, so they're thinking about efficiency, again, infrastructure and scale. So people are worried about losing jobs because these systems are designed to need fewer humans. So I wanted to talk about Mark, though, in particular, because I am a content creator on Facebook. They pay me pennies, but I am a paid content creator on Facebook. Many of us are, but we're not getting much, right? They're actually changing the infrastructure on Facebook this year. If y'all notice that the algorithms are different, people aren't seeing your post as much. You may not be seeing your friends post as much. This is because they are changing the algorithm on Facebook. They already changed it, and it's favoring AI. It's favoring those fake deep videos and things that are made with artificial intelligence type of creations. That's what they're favoring right now. Okay, so what's going on is Facebook has 3 billion monthly users, and they also own Meta, Facebook, IG, and WhatsApp. All of those are together. So across the board, you got 3.84 billion users. And this is one of the largest communication systems in history. And I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about this whole Meta Mark infrastructure with Mark. Okay, so he's the CEO of Facebook. He has the ownership, the power. His network is 100 to 150 plus $billion. Okay, one person overseeing a platform used by billions of people. One person. His mindset, his energy, his whatever he's feeling and thinking, right, or what's best. So the AI investments annually is they're spending 30 to 40 plus billion per year. And this is rapidly increasing year over year or year after year. Now, I heard that from what I've researched, they have laid off or are laying off at this moment, could have already did it, 21,000 plus people. That's a lot of people. 21,000 plus people that worked for Facebook and these um, Facebook in particular, but these sites, these apps, they're investing 135, this is Mark, $135 million, I believe, in all AI infrastructure, which means his whole infrastructure is based on AI. So even if you guys are content creators or people that may work for Facebook, yeah, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel that hit. And that's why, even though we, so much, I don't know, people don't support the way they should support. They don't support other people. But we have to begin, we got to get out of that mindset and begin to become more human again. Because we're talking about a platform like Facebook that is ran by human beings that is now going to be ran mostly by AI. So yeah, support. This may be a viable option for some of you guys that want to create content and do different things like that because it is a source of income. However, the guardrails and the boundaries are becoming a lot more tighter. We have to start supporting humans. Humans got to support humans again. It takes nothing to hit like, to hit subscribe, to share, to even start your own thing on these platforms. But whatever the case, is going to get in a space where a lot of people are going to be crushed that's at the bottom. So as humans, remember what I said. I hope you guys, again, please watch that Aquarius video that I made. It's underneath, is here on Calligraphy TV, and it's basically about um, the age of Aquarius change with humanitarianism versus technology. And the only way we can balance the metal, to balance the cold metal, is to continue to pour consciousness, to pour water, to continue to be more human into these. Remember, let me just give y'all a little bit on that. The jar that the Aquarius represent, or the water barrier, the container itself, we're looking at that as tech. That container is tech, right? What's inside the container is water, or consciousness, or what's left of our humanitarianism, what's left of humanity, our spirit, our love, our laughter, everything that makes us human. Okay, so that's what the video is about. So you guys check that out, man. It's really deep. Um, so again, they're spending, like I said, billions a year while they're replacing that many jobs from people. Okay, so we got the infrastructure build out, massive AI data centers. This is the infrastructure build out. Custom AI chips, large scale AI models like Llama, etc. These platforms are being rebuilt around machines. Okay, so these are the machines that's going to be, I mean, we don't even know who we're talking to now. You're going to be interacting literally with computers on platforms like Facebook and stuff. So again, while we still have humans and we still have a little control over our interactions with other human beings, take advantage of it. Stop sleeping on people. Stop, look at content. If you guys want this to stay human, if not, humans are being replaced from being less human. So we got to get back to being human. And that's simple. Not being God, not being whoever we feel we are. We on planet Earth. So on planet Earth, I mean, yeah, tap into the God seed. That's what's inside of ourselves, but not so godly and so spiritual and religious that we forget to simply be human, because that's happening a lot. So arrogant, so artificial, that we're losing our humanity in that, right, in that flow. So again, um this cutoff actually started way back in 2022 and 2023. 21,000 people were already cut off, uh, plus from it replaced by AI. That's continuing because, again, like I said, Mark is putting so much money in this infrastructure, $135 million, to replace humans and have him a full AI infrastructure. Okay, so there'll still be humans there, but it won't be many. It won't be, it's replacing a lot of jobs. Put it that way. So, and the reality again for creators, like I said, support content creators. You yourself may want to be one, um, and that's human. We don't want to replace content creators with robots. We want to deal with real people. And that's just one aspect, because a lot of jobs are being replaced and removed. So, it's like, okay, so honestly, when people do content creation, don't downplay it, because people are putting time, energy, consistency, and emotional labor into their work. And it is a real path to income, despite how people try to downplay it. People are making living life off of this. And this is some people's only way of survival. It's helped a lot of people, right? So that's just one aspect. Okay, so again, like I said, support, because the algorithm does not think. It responds to likes, comments, shares, and watch time. It does not have humanity. It does not care about, whether we get paid or don't get paid. It doesn't care about any of that. So we got to use our human leverage, even with AI. Humans will still train the system. You're training the algorithm. So the more we support each other, even our family, support people, human beings, and that will retrain the algorithm, even with AI present. That's important. Engagement and visibility, all of that stuff, right? Engagement equals visibility. So let me see what else I wanted to go into. I wanted to talk about some of our options, not just the AI content creator piece, but some of the things that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, so again, these systems are designed to need fewer humans. Okay, so the core line is the real shift is not robots taking over the world, it's robots replacing human roles in the workforce. Okay, so then we talk about panic and crime. The more jobs are being replaced, obviously that's going to bring up it's going to create more panic in humanity and in the people in the communities, and also crime, because the one thing we will do is survive no matter what. That's how humans are. That's how we're set up, and that's how we are programmed. That's how we are designed. That's our innate what they say, self-preservation. That's the law of nature, a law of man, to preserve yourself, to preserve your children. So if people are not able to make it in these new infrastructures that's coming up within now in the next 5 to 10 to 20 years, all of this stuff is just going to continue to, you know, um, go to a different place where, it's more and more technology growing and things like that. So we got to stand up and be counted as humans, or we will be, we'll be counted out. Even people that don't want to use it, are afraid to use it, or think it's the devil and all of these different things. And like I said, there's some good and bad and ugly with it, but this is the way of the world. So we have to learn to exist in a balance between, what is, what was, and who we are. Okay. Because some of this what was is going to be what helps us in these hard times, believe it or not. See, when people feel pressure, I like to quote Pharrell Williams. Nerd is one of my favorite bands. He said, gasping for air makes the righteous path harder to choose. When human beings are out here gasping for air, we already got crime. We already have financial issues and it's in this imbalance between the nots and the have-nots. That's already a real thing. So when you got the little mediocre and little jobs that we've had for those that on the bottom of the infrastructure, and you're taking those away, and now you're hitting some of the top jobs as well, that's going to create a lot of unrest. So when panic sets in, people, of course, make bad decisions. They get desperate, and then crime rates go up. The righteous path becomes harder to choose because people feel like they have no option when they're gasping for air. But we don't have to go that route, even though some people will. More power to them. Some people will. But we don't necessarily have to go that route. What's so awesome about living in this time, I'm astrology based. I look at patterns and different things like that. And when we're talking about the age of Aquarius, for those that do have that, that same way of thinking and school of thought, in this age of Aquarius, it's a very unique time. As a matter of fact, my second house, which is the house of our money, where our money and our possessions and everything sit, it is Aquarius. So I could never really make my my money doing a regular 9 to 5 anyway. I've been working at home for myself for the last 6 years, but I've always had this business. I was already setting it up, and I didn't think I would be able to survive. But you never know what you can do until you have to do it, right? So I want to talk about our talents. God gave everybody talents, and there's times where people, a lot of times people think that talents don't really matter because only a few people get to really use their talents, their creativity, and really make money from it. Now, of course, there's talents we use in the office and things like that, but I'm talking about other talents that you can use outside the office, certain things that you may consider only a hobby, and some things you may be masters at. But there's some things that AI will not replace, or it can still coexist where you can literally make a living from it at this point, right? So the gifts that God gave us, What you thought was small is actually marketable in this time. When we talk about the age of Aquarius, dealing with out of the box things along with technology. There's a right and a wrong way to use technology. Instead of complaining about how bad AI is, you got to find ways to use it that works for you right now. It's many times that we needed help in our businesses, Black people, small businesses, people that don't have much business sense, even not able to afford labor, different things like that. Now you got that. Now you have the ability to research. You have the ability to make your own flyers, to make designs, to make candle labels, to do whatever you want to do. As far as doing things like that that deals with admin, that deals with certain creative things that you may not have had access to before. That looks professional. That could put you to the next tier. But it doesn't mean that you need to use AI as a god, or use AI and take everything it says as that's the only way and that's right. You still need to double check, because we already talked about some of the variables within AI, like the glitches, the hallucinations, how they'll confidently give you wrong information with confidently. The sky is green, or whatever it is. But we have to now get into, it's time to break out for my people. And when you know, if you know, you know. Black folks been doing it forever. It's time to break out them pots and pans. People in the hood been doing it forever, of all different cultures, Latinas, everybody, we know how to break out them pots and pans. We know how to break out that lawnmower or whatever. It's a lot of things that's going on here that we gotta go back to the basics. We got to go back to what it is to be community. That's why the only way to survive this squeeze with technology and how it's squeezing out humanity is to become more human. Right now, people don't feel that way. People are not trusting people. People are talking about, I don't like people and I'm staying out the way. And I'm one of those people that's been isolated. Not that because I don't like people, but it's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of people that own some other shit. And you do have to protect your energy and protect your space. But we have to remember at the end of the day, our soul and that soul connection that we all have, that's what's real in an unreal world. That's all we got. We have what's inside of ourselves. We have what's left of nature that's still real for us to connect to. And if we don't want to be pushed out by the machine, we got to become more human. We got to remember what we have, what God gave us. Because again, this is the time that we need to pull out those talents. And maybe I'll go ahead and do another video in the future that talks about um, these astrological placements over the next 20 years. It's time for people to secure their businesses. It's time for people to see their income becoming more secure. And if you play the card right, if you follow the advice and really listen to discernment within yourself, the dreams and ideas that you have, and don't doubt them, you will not only survive in this time, you will thrive. Okay? Well, others may not be able to. So, real examples, you cook good, that's income. Who said you got to work at a restaurant or work in fast food? You got some of them grandma recipes, pull them out. You have a creative way to make this a reality. People did it all through COVID. People have done it all through my life. Sold plates in the hood and stuff like that. Maybe it's time to do more of that. For people that have, those skills. What about those pies you make? What about those health tonics? Whatever you're doing, and that's just one aspect of things that you can continue to do. You make the best brisket on the block, put that on the menu. That's marketable, right? Things that we take for granted that we may just do just because we like to do it. But it's a lot of things that we can do. Those fried chicken recipes and sauces. All of that. Other lanes. You can do meal prep for people. You can do catering, beauty, hands-on things that people still like, massage, hair care, nails, things that people aren't going to want to get their nails done, not right now anyway, unless we just start really getting, people want their nails done by people. You don't want to get your nails done by a robot. You want to get you want to get a soft massage, or a firm massage with human hands, not with robot hands. Just that's just another idea. People becoming massage therapists, getting into body work, people that do facials, and like the beauty industry in general, right? That's stuff that still operate with human beings. You got childcare. Robots ain't watching people, kids, not like that. Not, I know they won't be watching my kids. I know nobody in my community talking about robots watching kids. You may have to do a weekend care. Yeah, they got child care facilities. My mother owns a daycare. And that's why I tell her work is so important, because even just the safety of children and preschools and stuff like that, that's something that's always going to be needed, you know. Um, you could do an evening babysitting type thing where, there's parents, some people cut off their daycare at 5 or 6. You may want to do a nighttime daycare. You may want to do something on weekends when people are going out or working weekend jobs or have events to attend. You got to really think out the box. We have to stop being afraid and living in fear and thinking that only the old system is our only way of survival, because it's not. That wasn't even the original American way for, the white Americans. We were slaves, but But the point is, the American way was to be self-made, even for Black people, as we began to um, come out of slavery and get the little rights that we had, and even to be able to be available and provide certain services in our communities that we were cut off from. This is, you got to look back at some of those struggle meals and certain ways that we had to survive when we couldn't even sit in restaurants and stuff. We got to go back to some of that stuff, not necessarily struggle meals, but taking a little bit, and it's going to bring you a lot. Sometimes you can do a small investment in things and it'll bring you more than what you've invested. That's your profit. And you got to think out of the box. Don't whatever you do, don't go into a space of fear. Okay, a space of I'm hopeless. It's hopeless. I need to go out and rob everybody, rob other poor people like myself. No, don't. And when I'm saying like myself, meaning the community, you don't want to take from a community that's struggling just as bad as you are. You can tap into your creativity. Art for profit. Some of you guys are great artists. You sit around drawing and doodling, but never considered actually refining it or taking it to the next level. Art makes people happy. Art sells. It's a lot of things you can do with art, not just painting on a canvas. You could be creative on what you paint on. And I'm an artist. And one of the things that I like to do is create things that are practical so that people can use it. They may not be ready to buy a picture to hang on the wall shit. They may be, but you can find other things that you can create that people will need right now. Okay, you could do jewelry. A lot of people are making jewelry and stuff, but hey, do things that if you got a talent, especially even with welding and working with metal, it's a lot of ways to make jewelry. You can teach. There's you can do tutoring, you can do workshops. Also, even what I'm studying right now is AI literacy. The people that's going to have work is the people that know how to also work with AI. They're hiring people to work with AI, to teach AI. And that's what I'm here, doing my best, you guys, to bring you information. And the more I learn, the more I'm gonna bring to this platform, because everybody's not into that. I'm into it because we need to be into it. This is the way the world is going. And I want to be able to explain things to people that may be elders and don't understand it, or people that don't have the interest or don't have the literacy. I want to break it down to a base level where you guys can ask questions and understand, even if you already, watch videos and you still got questions or comments or concerns, and we can talk about it. But I want to be able to explain it on a deep level, stuff like what guardrails are. How to get correct information or useful information, how to talk the talk with coding. We're not going to go deep into coding, but just understanding the basics of different things. That is going to be helpful and useful for this new world we're in. The other options you could go into a spiritual field. Spirituality is still a thing. People still going to need guidance. People still need healing. They need mentors. People need, it's so many things that, people still need from people, because people really still make the world go round. Just remember this: the more fake and artificial we are, the more fake and artificial the world becomes. Because we have to fight for our humanity. Erica Badu talked about this years ago. Any Erica Badu fans out there, when she said you got to get to a place where you fight just to be human. And like, I matter. Humans matter. I'm a human being, damn it. And we got to stand for that, because they're trying to, the powers that be, powers that work, they're trying to really take away our humanity. That's a part of what selling your soul is when you get to a point where you're so robotic and so hard and so closed off and so self-serving and so non-community that you become metal. You become non-human. Remember, the only thing we got is that solar sun that's keeping us, keeping us in that motion of the God seed, keeping us connected to the God seed. And right now, a lot of people may think the stuff I'm saying is crazy. A lot of people don't even support the content, and that's okay, because I'm talking very specifically for people that want to be ahead of the game. Because I'm gonna tell you this: the weight of this world with technology and how cold it's gonna become, it's gonna be so much pressure put on us as a community and as a society that is nowhere to go but in. It's like nowhere to go but be more human. The pain of just trying to live in this metal world will become so painful that the only option is to become more human. It's to go within yourself and activate that within you, and also share it with other people. And they're gonna have to share it too, just like what Master Teacher Sunrise said back in the 70s. We got to get to a place of not just independence and dependency, but interdependence, because people need people. And people will see that more once you see how cold this world is going to become. And there's some people that's really not going to get it. They will be squashed by the machine, metaphorically. You know, this is weighing on people's mind. See, when we're dealing with the age of Aquarius, we're also dealing with mental health. I mean, on deep levels, stuff that you never even thought you may have to deal with that comes back up, where you don't even know if you'll be able to make it mentally, where you feeling like you're cracking. A lot of people are already going through that. And like I said, there's more room. They say there's more room out than in. But in this artificial world we're living in, it's more room in. It's more power in than out. Okay, so I'm not gonna, yeah, I'm gonna preach because we need to hear some preaching. But there's several things, and I'm not naming I mean, I'm not the employment agency. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. Now you can tap into yourself and see how that could play out for you. Some of you guys got gifts in woodwork, in welding. You can literally create practical things. You got to get into that inventive mindset, that innovative mindset. Again, we're dealing with Aquarius. And speaking of that, some of you guys might want to even tap into psychology, counseling, like when I said about mentors, but even counseling, helping people to deal and cope like the work I do. And again, when I was speaking to the services I offer, yes, I also offer spiritual counseling for people who may need alternative spiritual counseling where they're understood, where maybe religion, you can't talk to, certain people with certain schools of thought that may make a rigid or a space where there's not a safe space for you to talk and just be you without judgment. If you guys need to know more about my services, again, you can look in my bio. You can also tap into, you can email me, send me an email. All right. Um, Now let's go into, if you can do something consistently for people, you have value. And that's what we got to look at when it comes down to where we're going in the world. How will we survive? How can you serve people? How can people serve us? It's going to fall back on humanity. And like I said, the sad part is it may take us a while to realize it. But once you begin to see the pressure and how fast technology is growing, you'll get it real fast. Whether it's in some months, in a year or two, you're gonna get it if you still have, shit, human sense in your head. Because I mean, you gotta damn near be a metal person. You gotta be a very cold and detached person already to not understand, or to not to not understand the value that another human being has. Look at how the genders are fighting when really we all we got. We're supposed to be building together. And that's another conversation for another day. Men and women, especially us black people who have been through so much on this planet. It's no reason we should be at odds with each other for no reason at all. And whatever odds we have with each other, whether it's a different spiritual belief, philosophy, or whatever, we as black people need to fix that fast. We need to fix it fast. We got to get out of this dogmatic way of thinking because we are all we got. We got to start being more united, and not just with us. We got to look for other alliances too. Not to walk away and neglect our community and culture, but we all tired. Don't y'all know everybody tired? Not just the people at the top. That's, I mean, I didn't want to say not just people at the top. What I wanted to say is everybody's not at the top, but even some people at the top are tired too. But I'm talking about the ones at the bottom, the ones that's living mid, the ones that are tired of this, even the ones that have made a good living, but they have to serve the machine day by day to the point they're losing humanity. They can't even be parents to their children. You can't even enjoy the stuff you're working for. You're barely even in your house. You spend more time at work and in this metal workplace than you even do at home. Now, that goes into another thing while we're talking about jobs being replaced and things like that. Some people are actually tired of the corporation and the system. So again, you guys, we have to be more creative. Even if you have to get some skills that can help you now. You don't have to necessarily go to college and get a degree. We're in the age of information. Get the information you need to navigate your way out of this dilemma that we're having. Okay. Um, when it comes down to discernment, stop copying. We got to be unique because everybody could be artists and stuff, but be unique, be out of the box, be delve into that Aquarian energy, to that crazy Uranus energy. The stuff you think people won't go for, clothes that ain't haven't been seen yet, new designs, new hairdos, new whatever. Come with something different. It may be something that's old that you can refine and make it modern. Whatever that is, you guys, don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be that weirdo, that conscious outcast, or whatever you want to call it. Be innovative on this planet, and that's how you're going to survive and thrive in this new world. Believe me, you will be surprised at what will actually work because we got to have something, right? So when God removes certain things from us, then something else becomes. The world is definitely shifting. Shout out to Randy. Thank you for your comment. And as the world is shifting, we're shifting. And so one of the things about the discernment piece was we have to stop copying, stop chasing trends, and stop underestimating yourself because we got it. It's with us. And everybody's not meant to survive in the same way. Don't compare yourself to other people. And now back to the AI piece. AI is a tool. Use it right. And like I said, we can use AI for structuring ideas. We can use it to for speed. We use it as admin. Make AI be your secretary. You can work like 10, 20 people. Things that would have taken us so long to handwrite and to type. It's taking place in seconds. Seconds. I'm typing full reports in seconds. So all of those things are helpful for us. Get the information you need. Learn about trademarking, whatever you need to survive in this world. But don't fear it because it's here. And like I said, the way we survive with artificial intelligence is to continue to be human and find purpose. It's not about what the world can give to us at this time. We're dealing with humanitarianism. Age of Aquarius is not just technology, it's humanity. It deals with consciousness, it deals with water, conscious water. So, what can we do? What can we give to the world? How can we be valuable within ourselves with something that will serve the world? And I'm telling you, those are the jobs, those are the money streams that is going to help us survive. Is what we can be for the world. Because looking for a real human, it's going to get harder. And what I mean by a real human is people that's aligned with those values that we've always had. That's right. It's a tool. Let it work for you. And one more piece I want to touch on, you guys, is the barter system. Don't sleep on that. I never stopped doing it. I mean, that's always worked for me and my girls. Even when we had jobs, I'd be like, girl, I could give you X, Y, and Z if you braid my hair, and all of that. Some of y'all that get them yamps, y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't get them, but hey, you know, but you have to, in this day and time, we may have to have multiple streams of income. It don't have to be things that just wear us out and tires out. We need to look to the barter system and also look for community exchanges. That's what we got to do, you guys. And that's just some of it. If you guys have other ideas or things you'd like to add, questions, concerns, please feel free. We're going to continue, and share your ideas. We're going to continue to build on this AI series. But again, I'm going to break it up with other things so that I don't beat y'all to death with AI. Okay. But if you guys are liking this and vibing with it and want to see more of it, make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, share, um, and share the information. These are conversations, real conversations we need to have right now. So, on my closing now, when we talk about that community exchange, even sometimes getting off computers, I talked about that in the last build, like not allowing ourselves to just be so isolated and so into this computer stuff that we forget about nature, we forget about grounding ourselves and just real human interactions. I also talked about the glitch because I'm not forcing us to be in relationships with just any human. You know, some of these relationships are going to change because there's so many people that's still hooked on this system. They're not going to even know how to let it go. It's going to get to a point where, you know, we fighting each other, you know, like, you know, because people are in fear. And some of the older people, especially, they don't even know how to adjust to a changing world. You know, so we're gonna begin to see people glitch out as we're elevating. You know, and you can't allow those people to keep us right. Oh my God, yes. We can't allow those people to keep us stuck or in old ways of thinking as they're glitching. You have to let go. And see the thing about Aquarius age, it also deals with soul tribes. So your tribe may not look like you. It may not be people that's in your family, but it will be people that has that soul connection with you. Now, to this comment, the pandemic showed that you must be adaptable. Yeah, I think the pandemic was good for us actually. It was almost like a test run of what we may have to deal with. You know, not might have to deal with, will have to deal with. It prepared us to deal with stuff like if we have to socially distance or there's, you know, some type of a disease or some type of a illness out there that everybody's catching. And, you know, we have to do a lot of surviving. To be honest, I didn't think that I would be able to survive without my 3 jobs. I was literally doing, you know, I work in metaphysical field. So I'm certified in Reiki. I'm an oracle spiritualist. I'm a priestess. I was working at a place called Mystic Dream in Walnut Creek, California for years, you know, since 2007. You know, sometime I would leave, but I would always go back to this place. It was a center for me, a place where I felt grounded and stuff. But while I was building my clientele there, I also worked at Jamba Juice, you know, until I became a general manager at Jamba Juice, and I ended up working at Staples. And all these things were so that I can do what I really wanted to do. So when Misty Dream ended, I was planning on staying at Misty Dream at least another year. And when it ended, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe Misty Dream is closed. You know, like all of these years, right? And I got a good start there. I was able to create a client base and a reputation for myself that helped me, but I really didn't know what I was going to do when COVID came. I just started sponsoring videos on Instagram. I just started working and just doing my, you know, my work online, talking to people about it. And before I knew it, I'm looking like, damn, I'm actually making money. I'm literally surviving without the other jobs. And then of course that became more of a thing. That became my main stream of income. And I've been living alone. Well, living without, not living alone, but I want to be putting people like, oh, she lives alone. Hey, sometime. But I've been living on my own without a job, if you want to call it that, for 6 years. You know, and it's doable. It's very doable. You know, you just got to put your mind on what it is you need to make, how you want to live, and you begin to align yourself with that energy and manifest. It's not just sitting there like wishfully thinking, but literally aligning your energy with it. It's not make believe. I'm not lucky. You know, give thanks. I say it's not because I'm lucky or anything like that. I put in this work for 25 years, but what I'm also saying is even people right now, you know, this is the time now to maybe start moonlighting, to start transitioning out of certain things or adding the different streams in. That way when, you know, you fall off, or I mean not when you fall off, when things fall off, you'll still be okay. Another thing I tell people too, wealthy people, you know, they have money. They got a lot of rich people that you know they got money. And what I do is sometimes you got to tap into that market. You got to tap into a market that even if we everybody else is falling off and can't afford your service, that there's people that don't even hurt. All through COVID, I had high end clients, and so they're not feeling the pandemic. They're not feeling the strain and stuff like that. If you want to make it, you got to tap into that. Make the people that's still working for the corporations work for you. You know what I mean? Because they need your services. They feel like, and I'm not speaking against people in corporations because I got a banking and real estate background. Okay, I decided to step out on faith, and it wasn't easy to go into what I was passionate about. But I started off with you know, Bank of America. I worked at Bank of America for 5 years, 6 years. I worked in real estate for some years, worked in property management, but and those jobs crushed me. You know, they really did. So then I just stepped out like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And it worked for me. That second house in Aquarius, it worked for me. And those and certain things that you believe it or not will work for you. It will work for you. You just got to try it. You got to give yourself a chance. And that's the main thing I can say is to walk in radical trust. You got to adapt to change. Absolutely. Thank you, Randy. You got to adapt to change. Randy, where are you at? What part of the world are you in? If you don't mind sharing. I'm here in Tejas right now, but I go back and forth from California to Texas. So I've seen different trends with that too. And certain ways I could make money in California, I couldn't do in Texas. So I have to kind of come with my clientele in place. But you guys, you can do it. You can make it if you try. That's really, that's really what I want to say. Is there anything else I wanted to add? Do anybody have any questions? Oh, Brooklyn, right on Brooklyn. New York's in the house. I love me some New York now. It's y'all my peoples. You know, I got a family in Philly and tons of friends and family in New York, Brooklyn, Bronx. Shout out, shit, Queens, even Mount Vernon, believe it or not. But anyway, you guys, that's what I have to say on that. I'm not gonna just go on and on. This has been a good time, and we're almost at an hour. And if anybody, again, Metaphysical Monday do allow guests. If you have something to build on, something to share, certain gifts, skills, talents, even talents. I want entrepreneurs to come on and tell the people about how you're surviving. Tell the people about what they could do, and you know, we could even stuff like that. You could even showing people how to survive. Like the work I do, I could give my blueprint. You know, that's the job. You know, I can show people that blueprint on how I made it, and even how you can avoid some of those geofences and boundaries. You know, they set up a lot of boundaries. You'll see once you want to start doing things for yourself, they put pressure. The powers that be seem like it put pressure on you. You know, but you can make it. And that's why I keep God first for sure, always. Because in this day and time, in this artificial world, all we got, that is all we got. We have to put God first. We got to activate the God seed within ourselves and stay connected. God first, Ashe. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I'll be back next Monday with Ancient Angel. We're gonna talk about some of the customs of our ancestors, and he has a different view on that, like how he sees those old customs, and I have my views too. Certain religious ideas and things, and we're talking about basically what still serves us in this modern world. What can we let go of? What can we revise? We got to do that sometime. You know, religion has to evolve too. Spirituality has to evolve. Ashe. I love you guys. Thank you for watching Calligraphy TV. This is High Priestess Sister Arcola Soljat, and this is the new Soljat community. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Peace.